can I tell you what's up? Ask me how I'm doing, I'm blessed, yes. Living every moment, no regrets. Smile up on my face, I'm like, oh, yes, I'm blessed, yes, I'm blessed, yes. Ask me how I'm doing, I'm blessed, yes. Living every moment, no regrets. Smile up on my face, I'm like, oh, yes, I'm blessed, yes, I'm blessed.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. The show is First Things First, my first thing every day, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from the Most High, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and getting it started around here. Happy Halloween, if you celebrate that. I take pretty much any opportunity to celebrate. Sometimes you just have to flip it to your own purposes, right? If you think, some people think Halloween is problematic because of its origins or this or that. So just put your own spin on it. Say, maybe this is a day that you don't dress in a costume if you have to dress in a costume at work. Or maybe this is the day that you do like they do for Dia de los Muertos, which is tomorrow and the next day, and give some extra special thanks to your ancestors. Or maybe this is a day where you just gorge on candy because it's everywhere right now. But in any case, I celebrate you on this Monday. So this is how we do the show, and we're now streaming, so we're not just on the app, the website, and also on terrestrial radio. Now we're on YouTube all the time. So you can be all up in my business. And not just me, every single show on KBLA now streaming on YouTube. It's KBLA 1580. That's our YouTube channel. That is our Twitter, our Instagram, our Facebook, and we hope that you will like, follow, and subscribe wherever you go. I'm Dominique DiPrima. Hopefully you know that. Hour one, I typically have a partner in politics, someone who helps me help you figure things out. We got a lot to figure out right now. It's election week. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond. And the last hour of our show, we do a deep dive with a person or persons of interest. Today, I'll be talking with Emily Flitter. She's the author of this book. See, if you were on YouTube, you could see it. It's The White Wall, How Big Finance Bankrupts Black America. Very relevant, and I would say extra relevant right now in this election when we are looking at all of the, how would I call it, all the implications of the economy on how we vote and the decisions that we make. Joining me this morning, I have someone who's a friend. She's also a Gen X award-winning journalist and on-air contributor who says, she says she speaks like she has the common sense that God gave her and was raised right. You can usually find her talking about everything that happens at the intersection of politics, race, and social issues. Bylines, appearances, and producer credits aplenty. She is also a well-known political strategist. So when we come forward, we will be connecting with Jasmine Canick, and we will be unpacking. As those of you who've followed me for many years know, we don't agree on everything. We sometimes agree to disagree. I want to let you know about one thing before we move into that, though. For those of you who, and we thank you, if you followed Agenda for America and African American Perspective, we did 4 weeks of October with programming in areas that were relevant to Black America and America in general. Areva Martin with the State of Black Women, myself, the State of Black Youth, Zoe Williams talking about the state of Black men, and then Tavis Smiley wrapping it up with the urgency of now, an African American perspective, of course, can be found on our YouTube channel, also on our website. So you can listen to just the podcast, or you can actually see the broadcast as well. Well, now it's Agenda for California, an African American perspective, just in time for the election. It's moderated by the host of A More Perfect Union, Dr. Nikor Lai-Corte, and it's this Thursday, November 3rd from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's only on KBLA Talk 1580. And this is a conversation with an all-star panel. He's got the Secretary of State, Shirley Weber. He's got the Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony Thurmond, LA County Supervisor Holly Mitchell and Assemblyman Isaac Bryan, and more. And don't miss this. This is going to be an important conversation. If you haven't voted yet and you're still not clear, maybe you want to wait till Thursday. Of course, you know, next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow, is the last day to vote. And all episodes of this special series, including Jennifer California, will be available on the KBLA app and KBLA1580.com. We are doing all of these things to inspire you to vote. And be ready when you do vote on or by Tuesday, November 8th. If you haven't checked it out yet, our website has a special election information station hub where you can listen to some of the candidates in conversation with myself or Tavis Smiley. You can also hear my encapsulated opinions on various different topics as far as the different propositions and issues on the ballot. On top of that, you can hear from the judges. So lots and lots of information packed up there. I noticed my colleague, Ariva Martin, put out a slate. I just saw it yesterday. I agree with a lot of her, don't agree with everything. So maybe we can talk about that at some point to give us a basis for conversation, further basis. This is what I typically do. I look at various endorsements. I look at the LA Times, what are they saying? I look at the LA Progressive, what are they talking about? Knock LA, maybe Maxine Waters, Jasmine Canick usually does a slate, or Reva Martin, and then I will compare them. The LA County Democratic Party is a good place to look, and if you want contrast, you can look at the Republican Party, see where they are. Rick Caruso. And that's how you can kind of get a sense of who's coming from where and exactly what the money is being placed on and where that money is coming from. That way you could make up your own mind and be well informed. So that's my process. In case you haven't voted yet. If you're confused and you got the mail-in ballot, it can be mailed in right now, but early voting has already started. So that means you can walk into an early voting center. You can get those at lavote.net or the Secretary of State's website, which I think is sos.ca.gov. And you can find out where there's a voting center near you. You don't have to go to a particular polling place anymore. You can go to any voting center in Los Angeles and in LA County and just vote in person. You can also fill out the ballot you got at home and bring it to them and just hand it to them if you're one of those people that's really, wanting to see every step of your ballot securely executed. I think the LA County drop boxes are great. There's one right in front of Leimert Park. There are many of them all over. A lot of times they're in front of libraries or schools or official buildings like post offices, but they're the light blue and yellow drop boxes, and many of the candidates are urging us to go out and vote early so we don't end up with weeks and weeks and weeks of counting like we did in the primary and unable to seat elected officials, possibly leaving spots vacant and creating all kinds of other problems that we don't want. So once you figure out how you're voting, let's get to your place of voting, whether that's your living room, filling out the ballot and then dropping it. Or even if you put it in the mail, it doesn't need postage. Just getting it filled out and getting it in as soon as you can will actually make a difference here. So, we've got a lot to talk about, and looking forward to talking with you and unpacking local issues. I'm going to remind you, if you've got an 18-year-old or 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, hell, a 27-year-old. But really, if you've got an 18, 19-year-old who hasn't voted before, let's get them out to vote. Let's not forget to get all the family members in our home to vote. You can register to vote at an early voting center right now, right? So even though you've missed the deadline to actually mail in your voter registration, you can register at an early voting center right now just by walking in. You can register on the day of election at any voting center. That's an option. You're going to have a little bit more probably of a line. but polls open at 7, so I'm sure if you go right at 7, you know, there won't be much of a line. Or you can, you know, like I said, I would suggest if you haven't voted, if you haven't registered to vote yet, that you go ahead and go to an early voting center and register ahead of time. You can vote right there, and that way you can avoid some of the lines and other issues. That's the best advice I can give you right now for voting. When we return, we'll be talking with Jasmine Canick and you, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA, Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
When it comes to LA's next mayor, who can we trust to stand up for our community? The person who's always been there, Democrat Karen Bass. Unlike her opponent, Karen Bass has always been a Democrat, fighting for principles like fairness, justice, and equal rights. She's not a billionaire real estate developer who only comes around during election time. Karen Bass has never left our side or forgotten where she came from. Take it from someone who knows.
This is Stevie Wonder. And you know what? Today, there should be no confusion. Los Angeles needs real principled leadership. We need someone who is who they say they are, with or without a hot microphone. We need someone who has been consistent affiliation and government service. No surprises with Karen Bass. She is who she's always been, a real honest leader. Vote Karen Bass.
Paid for by Karen Bass for Mayor 2022 General. More information at ethics.lacity.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Maisha Cairo here with a quick recap from my time at JP Morgan Chase's Advancing Black Wealth Tour. There were speakers Ian Dunlap, Damon John, Lynn Richardson, MC Light, Don Kennedy, to name a few. Take a listen to what Justin Grant, Community Development Lead at Chase's Advancing Black
So I'm Justin Grant. I lead community development and national partnerships for JP Morgan Chase's Advancing Black Pathway strategy. And so we're focused on strengthening the economic foundation of black communities, and we're making targeted investments in programs like the Advancing Black Wealth Tour to help us get our tools and resources out to the community to drive sustained impact over time.
So when it comes to black and brown people, it sounds like Chase is making it their personal responsibility not only to facilitate these events, but to educate and provide resources. So, Mr. Grant, I have to ask, what does wealth building look like for the individual?
It's home ownership. It's having that freedom to be able to start your own business and create jobs in your community. And it's for what you want your life to be, and you have the resources to actually live it.
I'm Maisha Cairo. Thanks for sticking around. That was my recap from Chase's Advancing Black Wealth Tour. First stop was here in LA, and they're taking it national.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. These are tough times for everyone, so dealing with your timeshare may not be your biggest concern. But when this passes, do you still want a lifetime of payments, fees, and commitments for a timeshare you were misled into buying?
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started the timeshare cancellation industry by exposing the ugly truth about timeshares and giving folks the straight facts. I've been fighting the timeshare giants ever since, so no one knows this industry better than me and my team. Today, we have saved our clients an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Imagine putting those timeshare dollars today. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call Wesley Financial now for your free entry kit. 800-511-1551. That's 800-511-1551. 800-511-1551. Power to the people. Say their names. Voter suppression takes many forms. Say their names. When you vote on or by November 8th, say their names, because they can't. Vote on or by November 8th. What's your excuse? Paid for by the African American Voter Registration, Education, and Participation Project. Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, indeed. And we are, in fact, broadcasting on YouTube, on video, so you could see that I did come in a Halloween costume. Well, sort of. At least I have rabbit ears, okay? It's the best I can do this early. So pleased to have my friend and colleague on, Jasmine Mechanic, Gen X award-winning journalist and on-air contributor. You can find her at iamjasmine.com or at Jasmine with a Y on Twitter. Good morning, Jasmine.
Good morning, Dominique.
There's a lot going on. I feel like it's been a minute since I talked to you, and it's election season, so I know you're extra busy. How are you feeling right now looking at the race? To me, I don't know. For me, the most important thing on the ballot right now are the sheriff and the mayor's race for Los Angeles. But how are you feeling, and what do you think? What's standing out as most urgent to you?
Well, first I want to start off by saying that Kevin De Leon needs to resign, and so does Gil Cedillo. and I'm dead serious.
I know you are, and I agree with you.
When I think about city politics, and I've been talking to a lot of people who are just so upset about this, that it's actually making people not want to vote. If we can't, people are saying we can't even get 2 known races off of the city council, like, what hope is there for, with electing other folks? And I don't blame them for being so upset about that.
I'm upset about it too, but that's a dumb reason not to vote, because that's the city charter. That's not something the voters did or did not do.
I wouldn't say it's a dumb reason, because you have to remember, Dominique, everybody doesn't have insider baseball. Everybody is not into politics. Some people didn't even know who these people were until this incident happened. So if you are already standing on the sidelines and having to be coaxed to vote anyway, like talked into it, this is something that could just make you be like, you know what, I'm good. Right?
But you know what, Jasmine? Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but even the fact that we're starting here is kind of alarming me, because I feel like a lot of the progressive people, a lot of the people who, people like you said, who are engaged, all of our energy is being sucked up by Kevin De Leon and Gil Cedillo, who say they're not resigning. I feel like for the next 9 days, can we focus on the election and then get them out? I just feel like we're being distracted, and maybe that's part of their purpose.
To walk and chew gum at the same time, and I got enough energy to deal with those two as well as anything else, including the election. So for me personally, before I talk about anything, I have to make that clear that that's what I'm still on, right? For me,
I agree with you, by the way. I don't think we should ever get off that until they're gone, and I don't want to normalize it. Like, I feel like anything that normalizes them being in office is bad.
I agree. So, it doesn't matter where I would be this morning, Dominique, on, any show. That's what my comments would have started off with if it was a show in LA, okay?
Understood.
So, for me, the 3 most important races in no particular order are the sheriff, the city attorney, and the mayor's race. And I have to always remind people that the city attorney is more powerful than the district attorney. And for people who care about homelessness, that's not a DA issue. That's a city attorney issue. And we are voting for a city attorney. We're voting for a sheriff. I have made my position very clear. We have a very problematic sheriff. I am not excited about his opponent, but at the same time, I don't want 4 more years to be in the way of it either. I always tell people, like, when you have candidates, when you have elected officials, basically their first term in office is a get to know you period. We got to know Villanueva, we don't like them. So we're ready to move on to the next. And it can happen, as Jim McDonald found out, right? He was a one-term sheriff.
Yep. Rare as that might be. Yep.
Right. And then there's, of course, the mayor's race, which continues to amaze me just in terms of when I think of what could have been done with $100 million here in the city of LA?
Yeah, I mean, and when when you think about being pummeled with $100 million worth of ads, to me, the fact that she's still even competitive is an incredible testament. I mean, she's spent like $5 million against almost 100, and she's still competitive. That's incredible to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, luckily I can say that I've been around long enough to see folks who have had the backing of everyone go up against, David, and David triumphs, right? We've seen, the Goliaths, right? Like the Rick Carusos who have all the money. I just find it amazing. And I got to figure, Dominique, that's a drop in the bucket for him because I can't see him being the savvy business person that he is, putting $100 million into a campaign, and that's his last $100 million, right? So that must just be, half a percentage, right?
Well, I read that it was like $5 billion, but you also got to think that he'll have plenty of ways to get that money back if elected.
Of course.
As developer in chief. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So, that's just really interesting to me watching that. I mean, how can you not say that someone is trying to buy the election? I mean, that's a crazy amount of money. And throughout Rick Caruso's entire campaign, his campaign is, a lot of it is based on fear-mongering, making sure folks are scared. He's going to be tougher on crime. Your public safety depends on your vote. And he's got, the police union helping him, put that message out there. Haven't seen Rick Caruso really throughout his whole entire campaign do much with the Black community. The occasional photo ops and the obligatory, stuff is what I've seen, but nothing concrete, nothing for real. And, I'm one of those people, I don't care what race you are. Yeah, I want to know what your plan for Black LA is. I definitely want to know, particularly when we make up such a disproportionate number of the unhoused, of folks living in poverty, of folks who can't get jobs, folks who aren't hired at City Hall. Like, I want to know, what is your plan for Black Los Angeles? And I don't see that coming from Rick Caruso. I don't think actually, I think he does have a plan for Black Los Angeles.
Just not sharing it with us.
Well, it's not one that we're going to like, right? Our numbers continue to go down in this city, as we heard on that conversation, right? As we heard on the leaked audio. Our numbers continue to go down. Our political power continues to wane because we're being pushed out of this city by the high cost of rent and everything else. And I just think when I think of a Rick Caruso administration, I think that continues. And I think maybe LA's Black population drops down to 4%, a much lower. So, yeah, I'm concerned about the mayor's race, very much concerned. But I'm also, like I said, concerned about the city attorney and the sheriff.
Yeah. Well, we'll touch on those after news, traffic, and sports. But I think that's a great point because when he talks about, I'll house 30,000 in the first year, he's not talking about houses. He's talking about tents and shelters. And so he can say, my plan is much bigger. My plan is bigger than your plan. But is it better? We're talking with Jasmine Canick. And you, if you want to call in, 800-920-1580. It's KBLA Talk 1580. We're unapologetically progressive.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Welcome to a Monday. It's the last day of October. I'm Mike Moore and Information Network. The Supreme Court is set to take up a pair of affirmative action cases. With that story, here's Scott Carr.
After 8 years of litigation, the justices will hear oral arguments in 2 cases, one involving Harvard University, the other the University of North Carolina. The anti-affirmative action group Students for Fair Admissions argues Harvard was engaging in racial balancing by considering race in admissions and in violation of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Over the summer, 81 Republican lawmakers and 20 states submitted briefs in support of the group's case, while hundreds of universities and corporations, including Apple and Google, submitted filings in support of affirmative action. I'm Scott Carr.
And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
NetSpend All Access. Get the mobile banking account with perks at provided by an account established by Pathward NA, member FDIC. Deposit account opening is subject to registration and ID verification. Terms and costs apply.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Everybody put your hands together for the Lakers. They get their first win of the season after losing 5 straight, 121-110 over Denver at Crypto.com Arena. 26 points and 8 rebounds for LeBron James. Russell Westbrook almost had a triple-double off the bench. He finished with 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. The Clippers losing streak climbs to 4. They lost by 21 to New Orleans at home. The Rams lost their 8th straight regular season game to San Francisco. 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey ran for a touchdown, caught a TD pass, and threw a TD pass. First NFL player to do that in a game since former Charger star LaDainian Tomlinson in 2005. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA. This sports report was brought to you by MVP Accident Attorneys. When it comes to your settlement, we'll slam dunk. Call 833-MVP-WINS or check their website at themvp.com for a free case review.
When you're the victim of a car accident, hiring the right law firm can be the difference between a rewarding settlement and striking out. Call the pros at MVP Accident Attorneys at 833-MVP-WINS for your free consultation.
Call me your MVP.
I'm Danielle Sandoval, candidate for LA City Council District 15. Watts and Wilmington have been ignored far too long. I plan to do something about it. I have spoken to residents, and they've expressed it is time for new leadership. The corruption in City Hall has highlighted this need for change. The time is now for a new generation of leadership to represent Watts and Wilmington. Vote for me, Danielle Sandoval, for LA City Council.
Paid for by Sandoval for LA Committee.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years. Proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper. For our future. Subscribe today.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stop the violence. Increase the Peace Foundation. It's a non-profit, community-based organization dedicated to fostering peace while mitigating violence in our society. Established in 1993, Stop the Violence, Increase the Peace has provided a wide variety of assistance to thousands of youth, families, and victims of violence over the past 3 decades, including intervention services, conflict and dispute resolution training, grief counseling, and victims advocacy. In addition, the foundation offers an array of classes focused on anger management, domestic violence, parenting, substance abuse, and more. To make a donation or to access services, call 323-445-8620. 8620 or visit www.increasethepeacefoundation.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 15.
Now arriving, the K. Metro's newest rail line connects communities like West Adams, the Crenshaw District, Baldwin Hills, Leimert Park, Inglewood, and more. Transfer easily to the E-Line to connect to Santa Monica, Culver City, USC, and downtown. Ride the K to comfort food, culture, and an improved commute. 7 new K-Line stations now open. Learn about K-Line destinations, how to ride, and more at metro.net/K-Line. KBLA Talk 1580 is the official station of the K-Line.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
And I do appreciate you. Jasmine Canick is my guest today. Find her at Jasmine with a Y on Twitter. And you can find her at iamjasmine.com, her website, or at Facebook. Same thing, facebook.com/Jasmine. On Instagram, though, it's Hello Jasmine, at Hello Jasmine. Hello, Jasmine. Look, got a lot to talk about here. And, you know, you mentioned Rick Caruso's plan for black people. But as usual, some of us seem to really feel like that somehow because he's rich, he's going to make us rich. Or because he's rich, he's going to make all of L.A. more like the Grove. Or that he can somehow clean up something. Or, you know, I don't know. It's this weird thing, like somehow because he has nice things, that we'll get nice things too.
Well, here's the thing, and this isn't just for the mayor's race. I think this is for anyone who's running and saying that they're going to do this and they're going to do that. You don't need to be in office to get work done to help people in the city of LA. Like you don't have to be in office. And you know, people should understand that we are a council-heavy city. The mayor doesn't have as much power as the city council does. So, you know, I always, again, a lot of insider stuff, but those are the things that I think about. But really, Dominique, he doesn't have to be the mayor to want to help and be able to do something about our unhoused crisis, right?
Especially if you've got an extra $100 million laying around.
Exactly. And that's why I said that goes for any office. So, you know, and so I would say to people who think that they're going to get rich, you know, or have, you know, nicer things because Rick Caruso is in office, I mean, please. You know, I think for us, for black people, we'll fare much worse under a Caruso administration. I think that all of the problems that we have now will be compounded. I think we'll have additional issues. I don't think our communities will get the attention or resources that they deserve. Yeah. So I would be really, really concerned. And for me, you know, I always tell people, it doesn't matter who I work for, what I do, blah, blah, blah. I'm still an Angelino. I'm still a resident of the city of LA, right? And so I care about, you know, who is really going to deal with the soaring rent, who is really going to deal with the crime, who is really going to deal compassionately with our unhoused brothers and sisters in a way that for me personally, think takes into account everything that's going on. I don't see that coming from Rick Caruso because, again, as you said in your intro, Dominique, we don't see eye to eye on everything.
Right.
But I am a huge, you know, as much as I'm a criminal justice reform person, I'm a huge public safety person too. And so I'm very concerned about crime in Los Angeles right now. But still, even with all of those issues, right, crime, rent, the unhoused crisis, for me, Karen Bass still tops my list as someone. Now, I don't agree with her on every single thing, but I agree with her enough, and I definitely trust her. Because she's been in office long enough for us to know her and to know her track record and to know that she really cares.
Yeah, I mean, the Obama endorsement was nice. The Bernie Sanders rally was really well attended. It was over 2,000 people there. And so hopefully there's some momentum even without $100 million. I just really think it's urgent. And while you know what you said about you don't have to be in office to do good for the city, I was thinking the same thing about, you know, Kevin De Leon and his newfound desire to, you know, atone to the black community. Okay, resign. You can still do good things. You know, you can still volunteer. You know.
Well, that is That is certainly true. And let me just disavow folks with any notion that he is serious about that. When he says he has to stay in office because his people need a voice, he was running for mayor 6 months ago and ready to jump ship.
Right, exactly.
Okay? So,
and trying really hard to jump ship. Yeah, right. And, he kept saying to Taps, it'll be harder. It would be too easy to just resign. No, it won't, because you won't have a check anymore, so quit lying.
Exactly. And let's also be clear. He's already got a committee open for 2026. His re-election, had this happened or not, would have been in 2024, which means as soon as he got re-elected, he would have started running for lieutenant governor, which is what his committee is open for now. This is a person who jumps from seat to seat to seat. He is a professional, definitely a professional politician and not the good kind.
Right.
So, yeah, no. No.
Okay, so let's talk about city attorney. I know you work with Faisal Gill and you have endorsed him. Now he's made it to the general election. It's down to two, Faisal Gill and Heidi Faustine Soto. And I noticed, I told you, I said at the top of the show, Reva Martin did her slate. I didn't see yours. Usually you have one on your website. I haven't seen it. Maybe I'm just not navigating it right. But she actually... It'll be up. You're putting it up?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
I am.
Well, so she's endorsing Feldstein Soto, and I've seen, I think, the Sentinel and some others going that direction. What do you say to those folks?
I say that they're going to regret their endorsement if she wins. Look, I could sit here and talk about Heidi, but I'm not going to do that. I could sit here and talk about Faisal. I'm not going to do that either. What I am going to say is that people need to understand the role of the city attorney in the city of Los Angeles. People need to understand that when protesters were being arrested in downtown, when we were having all those multiple protests, it was City Attorney Mike Huer who was prosecuting them. People need to understand that, and I think you will remember this, Dominique, because we did a show on it, when that woman was renting out rooms in that house and not paying the rent and getting evicted, and all those people lost their place to stay. That was under the city attorney's purview, and he chose not to prosecute her or even go after her, and she continues to do it to this day.
Are you kidding me? She's still doing it? That's insane.
She's still doing
That's insane. And renting out rooms that she's not authorized to rent out and putting people at risk and having them in horrible conditions.
That's right. And so these are all things that go under the city attorneys. The homelessness crisis, that's the city attorney. That's not the district attorney. And so a lot of the issues that people care the most about, right, they don't understand. Landlord-tenant issues, again, city attorney, right? Environmental issues in the city of LA, that's the city attorney. We just recently saw Mike Stewart woke up and decided that he's going to try to do something before he leaves office, and he's going to help with the independent redistricting commission. That, again, falls under the city attorney. And so I really encourage people to understand what they're voting on and how important it is. Do not skip over the city attorney, because this is probably like the district attorney was for many people in the last two elections, the first time, especially that I can remember, that people are actually ever paying attention to who the city attorney is and what their role is.
Yeah.
Usually these city attorney races slide under the radar, much like the judges do, right? They slide. Nobody really pays. They're not sexy. They're not the sexy races. But it is definitely one of the most important. And I would argue more the city attorney in some ways can be more powerful than the council and the mayor. When you think of 40... I don't know, it's early in the morning, 4118, right? The ordinance that was...
Yeah, the anti-camping ordinance.
City attorney, right? Not district attorney. So, folks got to understand that you want to definitely put someone in that position who shares your same values and ideas on what you want that office to look like in the future. I think with all of these offices, city council, mayor, everything, I think voters, particularly younger voters, our generation, millennials and Gen Zers, We want to see something different out of folks. We don't want the same old, same old. I think that's why Gil Cedillo got the boot. I think that's why Mitchell
rights for generations to come. Vote yes on Prop 1. Ad paid for by Yes on Proposition 1, supported by healthcare organizations, Planned Parenthood affiliates of California, and Senator Tony Atkins Ballot Measure Committee. Committee major funding from Federated Indians of Creighton Rancheria.
Roll out. The all-new Gardena Nissan is proud to be a partner of KBLA, and right now, during their fall sales event, Zero Down delivers any new or pre-owned car. Bad credit, bankruptcies, or repos. The folks at Gardena Nissan will take fantastic care of you and help you get into the car you need and deserve at a spectacular price. Visit them today or shop online at GardenaNissan.com. The all-new Gardena Nissan is proud to be a partner of KBLA, and right now, during their fall sales event, Zero Down delivers any new or pre-owned car at Gardena Nissan. For the best deals, log on to GardenaNissan.com. Zero Down on approved credit. GardenaNissan.com. Roll out.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back indeed. Next hour we'll be hearing from the incumbent mayor of Inglewood on why you should reelect him. Right now we're talking with Jasmine Canick, an award-winning journalist, on-air contributor, and well-known political strategist. Jasmine, what do you want to flag on this ballot? I have a couple things I could ask you about because either I haven't figured out which way I'm going or they're controversial. But I want to ask you first, what are you flagging?
No, go ahead, Dominique.
Well, okay, so Measure A, because some folks say, we should not give the Board of Supervisors the power to remove the sheriff, because what if we get a progressive sheriff? And then, and plus the supervisors could then overturn the will of the people.
Right. So I'm not for Measure A.
You're against it.
I'm against it. I understand there are a lot of folks that I work with, have worked with, friends who are on the other side. But here's the thing with Measure A. First of all, I don't like making laws for one person. People have to understand that at the county level, so the Board of Supervisors has term limits. You may like your board today, but 20 years from now, if you get a conservative board or, that once this is enacted, they can completely flip the work that was done on this, right? I think there are other things in place, like vote him out of office, recall him. I really think voting him out of office is the best thing to do. I would have put more money and resources into making sure he didn't get reelected than putting this measure on the ballot. So I personally am not going to support that. I also just am not a fan of taking away, and if the proponents will say we're not taking away the people's right to vote, but I don't know. Because
they would still need a super majority, right? They would still need 3.
They would, but
3 or 4.
Here's the other thing. Right. Like I said, if they're going to change, the 5 people in office are not going to be there forever because they have term limits, whereas the sheriff does not have term limits. And so, again, I just thought more resources could have been put into taking him out than to doing this. And folks who are listening, by no means am I a fan of Alex Villanueva. I definitely want to see him go, but I do believe there's a right and a wrong way to do things, and on this issue, I'm not going to be supporting that.
I just think it's crazy because, on the one hand, in theory, I understand what you're saying, but if we wake up on November 9th with Alex Villanueva, we may be regretting having voted no on A. That's all I'm saying. And I understand what you mean about not doing a whole law just for one person. But
yes and no.
If I come up missing on November 10th, come look for me.
You can wake up on November 9th and he got reelected, and let's just say Measure A did pass, that doesn't mean they can just take him out of office. If you, you know, as you know, if you read the whole entire, in the small print, there are all these things in place. And quite frankly, you know, he might be indicted. There are a whole bunch of things that could take him out anyway, the rate he's going.
Keep him alive.
Right. So, look, you know, but yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at on that. And it's been a hard one for me because, you know, like I said, I have a lot of friends who are supporting it, but people who know me know that I go my own way. I am not one of the herd or one of the pack.
And we love you for that, even when we don't agree. We love you for that. Okay, talk to me real quick here about Prop 29. This dialysis thing. I mean, it's like I feel like we're voting on dialysis every election, and it's just like, wow.
You are.
Okay, so where are you on this? LA Times says no. I think the Progressive says yes. Where are you?
So I'm going to vote yes for Prop 29. I don't care how many times they run that vote no commercial. I have read the proposition. What it is asking for is not, to me, crazy or out of the way. It is actually something that I would have thought was already in place. And so, yeah, I think the dialysis companies have been able to operate for so long unchecked. And, you know, this, again, is an opportunity. I mean, look, they're asking for, you know, someone to be, you know, around who is a physician's assistant or a doctor, or I forgot what the other title is. I mean, this is just common sense. You got people doing dialysis, right? You know, and they're asking for the dialysis centers to be transparent and say if they have, you know, people, you know, who are working there, who are on their board or whatever, who are making a profit. Like, it's just common sense things to me.
Physician, nurse practitioner, or physician assistant, And
doesn't that seem like common sense?
It kind of does, yeah. The Progressive is for it. The LA Times is against it. Areva Martin against it. Knock LA is going for it, so interesting to hear your perspective. We're talking with Jazz Mechanic, and this is KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where we turn red lights to green lights and keep it moving.
Experienced, dedicated, with a strong commitment to justice, Cheryl C. Turner, California State Senate District 28. Cheryl C. Turner will work tirelessly to improve District 28 until we accomplish what is best for our community. Ms. Turner will work to represent District 28, its residents, and make it a better, safer, and healthier place to live. She will truly address the COVID-19 crisis impact on jobs, housing, education, and the economy. Vote for Cheryl C. Turner for California State Senate District 28. Ms. Turner's legal background will enable her to propose, evaluate, and advocate for laws that will benefit District 28, which include Ladera, View Park, Baldwin Hills, Leimert Park, Century City, and Culver City. Her history of public service to this community ensures that she will look out for our best interests. Make the right choice. Vote for Cheryl C. Turner for California State Senate District 28.
This is Cheryl Turner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Turner for Senate 2020.
Rail line. 7 shiny new K-Line stations connect you to the E-Line, West Adams, the Crenshaw District, Baldwin Hills, Leimert Park, Inglewood, Westchester, and more. Learn more about the new K-Line and all the places you can go at metro.net/K-Line. KBLA Top 1580 is the official station of the K-Line.
This Sunday and every Sunday is the African Marketplace and Drum Circle Community Market. Get free groceries, essential resources, and buy black from local merchants of arts, beauty, custom black merchandise, and more. Choose from a wide variety of cuisines, custom-made clothing, jewelry, and a lot more. Experience the true essence of Africatown at Leimert Park every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Join the Drum Circle, dance, enjoy live performances, connect with other conscious black people. Experience black excellence every Sunday in Africatown at Leimert Park. You can find us on Degnan Boulevard near Vernon and Crenshaw in the heart of Africatown Place and Drum Circle Community Market. Join us for music, shopping, food, and fun this and every Sunday. Support black businesses, recycle black dollars, and feed your soul. The African Marketplace and Drum Circle Community Market every Sunday in Africatown at Leimert Park. Brought to you by Africatown Enterprise and the African Village Vendors Association.
Less BS per broadcast. Fewer microaggressions per megawatt. KBLA Talk 1580.
Can't believe how time flies when we're on the radio. Jasmine Canick, we got 3 minutes right here. I'm pass the mic to you. And what do you want to emphasize about this election?
Besides Kevin and Gil got to go, that it's important that you vote. And this is what I say to people who look at a ballot and get all confused and don't know what to do. Find someone you trust, ask them, take some time to sit down and do your own research. Like I said, if you can't do that, find someone that you trust who you think will give you good, solid advice on how to vote. I don't want us to vote. I don't want us to be uninformed voters. I think that particularly for Black Angelenos, there's a lot on the ballot that's going to affect us, and it's very important that we make the right decisions when we show up and vote. I would just also say that I am super proud of Black Los Angeles. I just want to say, I love the way folks came together in the community in the wake of the city council scandal. And I really was really proud to see all of our different communities working together and standing together as one voice saying that these folks had to go.
Yeah, I think that's...
And I'm proud of BLMLA for being in front of his house. I will say that. I appreciate them. That's everybody I always tell people there's a role in our fight for freedom. Everyone has a role. Some of it's starring roles, some of it's supporting roles. They are in a starring role. I cannot sleep in front of Kevin De Leon's house, but I am so proud of them for doing that.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. I agree with that. And we got another minute, Jasmine. Tell them how to follow you. I was on your website. It's really looking great, and you can even shop Jasmine. I mean, she's the fashionista. She's got a lot going on.
Well, hey. I do believe that you can, be an activist or be in politics or be whatever you want to be and still well dressed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am Jasmine.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Jasmine. But at the rate Elon Musk is going, I'm just like, maybe I'm going to have to leave Twitter.
We didn't even get to talk about his Pelosi comments, right?
And we didn't talk about Kanye either, but that's a whole other day, whole other subject.
Yeah, we'll come back to that for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Sister Dominique. Thank you so much. Continue to have a great morning, and thanks for having me.
You as well. IamJasmine.com is where you can find her, and that's Jasmine with a Y. I'm Dominique DiPrima. We've got our Mindful Mondays, and after that, the mayor of Inglewood. It's a lot going on around here all the time at KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.